And good morning. Welcome to Your Vote Counts. Jon Echols, Jason Dunnington. And I saw a press release this week from the Attorney General getting really serious about the organized crime, as it's being called, that's involved in all this black market marijuana. Some legislation was passed last session. You may have something to do about it, want to talk about it, but the AG's getting really serious about this. It needs to be done, right?
Yeah, so what this does, the AG created a new task force that was allowed by legislation passed by my colleague. I'm sure he'll tell us a little bit more about that. But this is really important because organized crime has continued to just savage rural Oklahoma when it comes to medical marijuana. There's so many illegal grows. There's so many illegal aliens. We've had folks from Russia, folks from China, different countries that have come in, taken advantage of Oklahoma's medical marijuana environment. And this task force will be the first step in trying to clean a lot of that up. Now, we've all seen task forces in the past. What's going to be most important with this is that what they get out of it, that they actually put teeth behind it and do something on it. And I think that we'll see that from this Attorney General, but it's a good step in the right direction.
Okay, let's be clear. It's not hyperbole to call it organized crime, right? It is really organized crime. This is a mob. And you started the legislation, you and Senator Paxton. What's about to happen?
Yeah, so first off, way to go, Attorney General Drummond. He is doing exactly what we thought he was going to do. He's doing what he campaigned on. He said he was going to go in and take on head-on the organized crime element inside the medical marijuana industry. Senator Lonnie Paxton in the Senate, who does a wonderful job, ran this bill with me. What it did is it gave the Attorney General the ability to have an enforcement arm over many things inside the marijuana industry, specifically those dealing with criminal activity. This is huge news, and I think we've taken a lot of steps before that, but the Attorney General's office is the right place to house it. He's the right person for the right time. If you're an organized crime in Oklahoma, we've said it time and time again, we keep busting you, we are still coming after you. Get out of here. We don't want you in our marijuana industry.
Good. Okay, that's really great to know. All right, let's go from organized crime to disorganized politicians. You're watching what's happening in Washington, D.C. The Speaker of the House, Kevin McCarthy, who is just, he's in a corner on this, says that there's a small group that just wants to burn down the House. His words. All right, that's happening in Washington. What do you think the impact could be on Oklahoma if the government shuts down?
Well, it would be a massive impact. A government shutdown in the state of Oklahoma is always going to be a bad thing. We are a veteran state. We are an active duty military state for our bases. We have to find a way to govern. One of the things I do on this show is I'm really hard on Washington, D.C., and frankly, I'm not going to be any different in this answer. We have got to find a way to both cut spending, to curb this massive inflation that we have going on, curb out-of-control spending that we're adding your kids, my kids, and we've got to get past this ridiculous partisan divide. A shutdown is not a bad thing, but that's going to require everybody giving some give on both sides. Or a shutdown is a bad thing, but it's going to require give on both sides.
I know Senator Langford's working on something to stop this in the future, but the fact is it looks bad, it feels bad, it is bad.
Yeah, it is bad, but so is $33 trillion in debt that the United States is in. And we've talked about this on this show before. What we continue to have is one political party that's in power that spends too much money, and the other talks about how bad it is, and then it switches. Then the other political party's in power and the other party talks about how bad it is. But what we don't do is anything to curb the spending that we have at the federal level. Look, we can't have federal shutdowns. That is bad. It will stop infrastructure projects. It will stop funding of the government in ways that's very important. But you can't use that as an excuse every time to curb some of the spending that you have. We have a real problem, and we need some adults in the room that will find some solutions.
Yeah, more adults would be great. Okay, when we come back, we're talking about higher ed again, plus Oklahoma children lose a champion.